So once again po, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon to our dear panel of evaluators. I'm grateful to share with you the results of my study titled Research Productivity of a State University in Central Luzon, Philippines, Basis for Policy Recommendations. So one of the fourfold functions of higher education institutions, specifically universities, is to conduct research or to create new knowledge along with other functions such as instruction, extension, and production. However, research is also one of the weakest points among Philippine higher education institutions as compared with our neighboring countries. The creation of new knowledge as well as its dissemination through peer-reviewed journals is an important role of research communities that include universities, laboratories, and research centers according to Vinluan in 2011. According to the Global Innovation Index 2020, Philippines ranks 50th out of 131 countries. If we're going to look specifically on the different indicators, Philippines ranks 86 out of 131 in terms of human capital in research, which is considered to be below average. And if we're going to compare Philippines in our neighboring countries in Southeast Asia, we could see that the Philippine ranking is lower than Singapore, which ranks 8, Malaysia, which ranks 33rd, Vietnam, which ranks 42nd, and Thailand, which ranks 44th. In response to this low innovation or low research productivity, the national government, through its Science for Change program, or S4CP, was launched in 2016 under the Duterte administration from 2016 to 2022. And these S4CP compose of 4 national programs that includes the niche centers in the regions for research and development, or NICER, Research and Development Leadership, or RD-LEAD program, Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage Philippines Economy, or CRIDL program, and the Business Innovation through S&T, or the BEAST for Industry program. Apart from that, state universities and colleges are being measured in terms of SUC leveling instrument, and one of key result areas is research capability and output. This includes the number of research centers, that includes percentage of researchers to total regular faculty, externally funded research, completed research-based papers presented, citations, and inventions for the past 3 years. The respondent of this study envisioned itself to be a progressive learner-centered research university recognized in the ASEAN region in 2020. Hence, the objective of the study is to document the research productivity of the institution for the past 5 years, from 2016 to 2020. Specifically, it aims to identify the number of papers published in referred international journals that include Scopus and CHED accredited journals, the number of faculty researchers with publications to these journals, the total number of citations, and the most productive colleges in publishing in Scopus Index journals. The research design employed in this study is a descriptive research utilizing document analysis, the Google Scholar profile of the university, the databases in Scopus and ASEAN Citation Index, and the journal publication submitted to the Office of the University Director for Research and Publications were served as the data collection tools. Data matrices using MS Excel were constructed by the researcher and employed frequency counts and percentages as descriptive statistics. For data collection, after the creation of the Google Scholar profile of the university, which I did last year in January, I constructed the research database based from the research problems. And then I actually update the research database from time to time through the Google Scholar alerts and the databases in Scopus and ASEAN Citation Index. After which, I pre-process the data before the analysis, wherein I actually summarized the tables based on the research problems and did the evaluation by crafting some policy recommendations. So as you can see, this is actually the Google Scholar profile of the university, which can be found in the Google Scholar, and the URL can be found in the footer of this slide. So the results of the investigation shows that the university has a high number of published papers in international referred journals, and the most productive year is in 2019, wherein there are 33 papers published in international referred journals, followed by 2017. You may also observe that there are 17 papers in 2020 as of October 15, 2020. And this could be attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic that hampered or disrupted some of the research processes. But this figure is expected to rise before the year end, since some of the publication are still pending. So for the past 5 years, there are 117 papers published in international refereed journals by the university. Out of these 117 papers, there are quite a low number of papers in Scopus Index journals. As you can see in this graph, in 2016, there are 7 papers published. But from 2018 to 2020, you can also see that there is an increasing trend from 2 papers to 5 papers in 2020. So for the past 5 years, there are 18 published papers in Scopus Index journals. Although this is an increasing trend, we can see that out of 117 papers, only 18 papers were actually published in the Scopus journals. Likewise, for the CHED accredited journals, out of 117 publications, there is a relatively low number of CHED accredited journals. 2017, we have 3 papers, and 2020, we have another 3 papers. For the past 5 years, 7 papers are actually published in CHED recognized journals. And these CHED recognized journals are the journals indicated by the CHED Memorandum Order in the Journal Innovation, Incubation and Journal Challenge Program by CHED from 2017 to 2019, which includes also the ASEAN Citation Index. So as to the number of faculty researchers who publish their papers in referee journals, I try to classify them according to the campuses, from Campus A to Campus G. The name of the campuses were anonymized for ethical considerations. So for Campus D, it has the highest number of faculty researchers with 31. Out of 31, 4 researchers published their works in Scopus, and 5 researchers published their works in CHED. Followed by Campus F with 15 researchers, 2 actually published in Scopus, and 2 researchers actually published in CHED. Then followed by Campus A. Campus E and Campus G has still to publish their papers in the international referee journal. So overall, the university has 56 faculty researchers. We can be considered an average number in terms of number of researchers who publish their works in the international referee journals. In terms of the number of research citations, the university has an excellent citation record. So you can see from the graph that in 2016, there are 91 research citations. And from 2017 to 2020, that is an increasing trend. In 2020 alone, there's already 105 research citations, which is indicative that the quality of papers that is being published by the university is of high quality. So all in all, there are 427 research citations for the past 5 years. For the most productive colleges in terms of Scopus publications, I only focus here the papers in Scopus in terms of the different colleges. So the College of Teacher Education ranked first with 8 papers, followed by the College of Engineering with 6 papers, and then College of Arts and Sciences and College of Fisheries with 2 papers each. So for the conclusion, the research productivity of State University is quite high. However, published papers in Scopus Index journals and CHED accredited journals are relatively low. There's an average number of faculty who publish their works in reputable journals, but very few faculty publish in the journals indexed in Scopus and recognized by CHED. The university had remarkable research citation record, and the College of Teacher Education and College of Engineering are the 2 most productive colleges in Scopus publication. For that, there are the study actually has established some implications to policy, which include the development of viable and strong faculty and staff development program with focus on the pursuit of advanced degrees and research involvement. Relevant in-house trainings and workshops on research must be sustained and must be spearheaded. The conduct of in-house research evaluation must be sustained since we are doing that annually, such as this in-house review. Adequate funding for research presentation must also be sustained since the Vice President for Research already reiterated that we have an adequate funding for presentation. And sound incentive mechanism be institutionalized, although this is already spelled out in the research manual. We just need to operationalize this incentive mechanism so that other faculty researchers would also be attracted to publish in Scopus and CHED accredited journals. Annual recognition of outstanding research projects, activities, and researchers based from the internal and external funding sources may also be done. The year-end assessment and evaluation of research outputs as part of the monitoring could also be done. Establishment of linkages, partnership, and research networks must be sustained since we already have a strong research networks and linkages with other agencies, not only in the region, but also in the national and international levels. establish research centers on engineering, teacher education, forestry, and technology development. Since we already have some existing research centers in the university. And lastly, we also encourage the researchers, faculty researchers, to create the research profile in the Google Scholar so that the metrics would be easier to analyze later on. Some of the faculty researchers who have already published papers can actually sign up with your Google Scholar profile. We just need to have an institutional email, and we could actually top the MIS for that. You could also apply for membership to scientific organizations if you already have publications or have finished your master's and PhD, like the National Research Council of the Philippines, so that we could get funding for us to be able to get funding and also to avail some grants like thesis and dissertation support. We should also be more aggressive with the copyright and patenting, and that's one of the future study of these studies, to also identify the number of patents that we have for the past 5 years in the university and the number of copyrights. I did not include this since it needs more time for the data mining. And lastly, to create the online journal publication management system, since we are now in the new normal, I believe that it could also be possible that we put the Primsu or the Primsu journal as an online journal. Marami pong salamat. These are some of my references.
Okay. I would like to be the first to congratulate Dan for
Thank you po.
a very impressive manuscript. And of course, being a part of Crimso before, I believe that we might as well come up with that some research university, no? The analysis and methodology, the abstract, they're nicely written. I appreciate the attempt to provide a clear picture of the study as a whole on the various aspects. And there's only some questions that I would like to ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Dan.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
First, do you believe that Primsu will be able to attain its status as a research university in 2020? 2020,
Yeah.
because that is the vision.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, that is the vision of the Primsu.
Yes.
So, siguro follow-up questions ito. What are the indicators to become a research university? How many researches are needed, really, to publish in refereed 10% in publish in refereed journals to become really a research university?
Actually, ma'am, the question is really difficult to answer. If if Prims will be able to fulfill the vision this year, but I think the university is already is very aggressive to be able to fulfill that particular vision. But for 2020, I think there's still we need more time. Probably it could be another 5 years to be able to really fulfill the vision. Actually, the term research university is really it's really a big word, since even the big universities such as De La Salle University, UST, UP are actually trying hard to really achieve the research university status. But with the collaboration of the different sectors in the university, especially the faculty researchers and the administration, I think we can actually be recognized as a research university, not in 2020 probably, but in 5 years from now probably. And the question on how many papers are needed or how many publications are needed, actually we have a different we have different measures on that. That's depending on the targets per year of the different universities, especially for SUC leveling. Kasi po, for example, per year there is a target, and then if you exceeded the target, that means that's more than 100% of your target. So it depends upon the targets being set by the SUK per year. But and actually, that's one research gap that I'm actually looking, ma'am. That this particular study could be followed out pa to compare naman one state university to the rest of the Central Luzon universities and colleges to really see nasa naman tayo, nasa naman ang PRIMSU when you compare it into the regional context. But as to the number, it depends upon the target set po by the university.
Okay, well said. And I hope that the university really would be able to reach its goal or realize its dream or its vision as a research university. And one of this is like this, like having in-house forum, etc. So I think today we are going into that. However, as you have mentioned it, and that the one that is being placed in 2020 in ASEAN, I think you need more time or more years to be able to develop a team of researchers, no, a pool of researchers which which will publish and which will present their studies in the international fora, diba? Okay, congratulations, Dan,
Thank you, ma'am,
for
for the question po.
and for a very good study.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Doc Irene, do you have some questions?
Irene, natulog ka na yata, ma'am.
Hindi. So, congratulations. Ikaw ang last na nag-present. The presentation was very, very good. Lalong-lalo na with the use of graphs, may different types of graphs. Kasi sa manuscript mo, ang ginamit mo lang table.
Yes, ma'am.
But during the presentation, you made use of the line. May line, may bar graph ba yun?
Yes, ma'am.
Ano pa yun? May pie ba? Hindi. But you made use of other types of different ways by which you're able to present the data
Yes,
vividly and understandable sa reader.
Thank you po.
And naman, yung university format was followed. Okay. Yun lang. Congrats.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am Ebal.
For a very good work.
Doc Froilan.
Yes, congratulations, Sir Ragayan. So that's a wonderful presentation. So maybe in addition, you're planning to have a journal for the PRIMSU. Maybe one of the things I can share is for you guys to invite editorial boards so that you can start with the journal. So maybe we can start
Yes.
with that, and then after that, you can apply for an indexing on
Yes,
that.
sir.
It's the best thing that you can do. Then later, you can apply it for, let's say, a citation index, and that's it.
Yes, sir. Noted, sir. Actually, sir, yeah, in terms of the journal, we already have the existing printed journal of the PRIMSU. But I think to be more competitive in terms of research productivity, since we need to be felt online in terms of research productivity, we need to digitize the journal, and we need to have an online version of the journal. And as you mentioned, yes po, we need to really strengthen the editorial board so that we could apply it later on for indexing, like kahit muna po siguro sa Philippine e-journals or sa mga ano muna before we go to the ASEAN Citation Index, since medyo very rigorous din po yung process in terms of the accreditation of different journals. But yeah, noted po, Doc Froilan.